Catus, Maximus here. Just a little video about this Genesis. This is a GLHC72. This is just a little basic Dremel, cordless Dremel, 7.2 volt. Ultimately, the only reason I'm doing videos, I just thought I appreciate the difference or the take on the ergonomics, the way they put the batteries down here. And it could be handy in just certain very specific situations, just where you need a shorter length. You know, more common, like this Wen, which is really popular on Amazon, as we can see, is quite a bit larger than this unit. This thing is just super basic, has like just an unbelievably basic charger, like a 3-watt charger. It has this charging stand. When you plug it in, it turns red and then it turns green. There's some kind of electronics. One thing I was going to mention is that you can actually just plug the charger straight into the unit itself. Obviously, the motor in this uses a lot more than 3 watts, but if you're using it quite a bit, then you can leave it plugged in. The battery won't drain quite as fast, and every time you turn it off, it's adding a little bit of charge. So I thought that was kind of an interesting aspect, and appreciated that a little bit. Plug it in there, which is also kind of interesting that you're plugging it into the front, and has this little stand to set it in for, even though it's, there we go, for charging. A little area to hold extra bits and that type of stuff. So I thought, you know, for one of these $20 Dremel tools, I suppose it's okay. We do have a little battery meter, which even the Wen doesn't have. And of course, variable speed. Now it is lower quality than the Wen. Like on the Wen, it's a digitally controlled push button. And the Wen has 4 lights on it, so it does have better lighting. Now these 7.2 volt Dremels or you know, rotary hobby tools are super duper weak. If you need to use them to cut off a bolt or something, you could, but it's going to take a while because you have to go really, really easy and light. This Genesis has a LED too, but you know, it will provide some illumination, maybe, you know, if it's a really dark area. But that's about it. I mean, as far as the power, now this only goes to 18,000 RPM. This goes to 25,000. So, I mean, this is a super cheap unit. But it does okay. I mean, if you need to do basic sanding or deburring, stuff like that, it'll do okay. Fortunately, these tools, they do use a standard width Dremel wrench, whatever that is, 8mm or something. So at least they're following along with that. But that was the whole purpose of this video, is just thought the ergonomics were interesting because it allows you to get into areas where you may have to hold it like this. Something where you just can't get a longer unit, or even, you know, quarter Dremels are about this long. Obviously a lot more power. But where you needed something that was just a little bit more compact. Can't think of a lot of situations. There might be a few automotive situations, that type of thing. I also wanted to take a quick look inside this charging base. So there is a little circuit in here with a capacitor. We have the red and green LED. So what this circuit must be doing is this something that, I guess, monitors the current or the voltage drop or something like that. And all this is really doing is just driving that LED and make it turn green once the power level reaches a certain point, or maybe the voltage rises to a certain level. If it's charging, then it's placing a load on the charger, causing a voltage drop. So maybe, and I think this is a Zener diode, so it may be that when the battery gets full, the voltage rises all the way up to 9 volts and then allows like some power to flow and causes the green LED to light up. But this isn't actually like a lithium ion charging circuit. And so I'm going to open this up because I believe this has the actual battery protection and charging circuit built in. And all this is just to run the red and green LED there. Decided to go open this up too. At least there's one good note. They did put a ball bearing up here at the front of the spindle, so when you're pressing on stuff or working on stuff, you know, pressing sideways, that one, it will actually last a halfway decent amount of time, and it dramatically improves the power delivery from the simple 7.2 volt motor. Using oddball size lithium ion cells, these are 1100 milliamp hour, which is, I guess, okay for 17500. So those are even smaller than 18650. 17500. These are basically like AA size lithium ions. And yes, indeed, I was correct. For how cheap this is, it's surprising they add the extra electronics in the charging base instead of just plugging it in, like maybe using these lights to indicate charging. But this is going to be the whole special charging circuit for the lithium-ion batteries. Quite complicated. And then we have a separate, fairly complicated circuit just to drive the motor and run the variable speed. So there's actually a fair amount of electronics in this unit between wherever I put it. Trying the little circuit board in the base, and then the, level meter circuit board here, the speed control board here, and the charging control board. Actually, a little bit of expense. Interestingly enough, they have this, kind of soft grip overmolding, but they in-molded a section of it right here, so that it provides kind of like a soft grip bumper to help reduce motor vibration, which, to tell you the truth, is a smart way of doing it. Anyway, that's my little review of the Genesis GLHC72. Super cheap tools, although this one, which I found online for 20 bucks, is actually probably worth 20 bucks, considering the stuff that it comes with and the way you can run it with the charger in it. Although I'd still recommend the Wen. I just thought it was an interesting take for a different style of ergonomics for a rotary tool. And if you want to hold it like a pen style, you just hold it upside down, which makes sense. And then, of course, you have this interesting grip. A couple of these screws, they didn't look like this had ever been tampered with, but a couple of the screws in the body were basically stripped out from the factory, so that was exciting. It still seems to hold together just fine. Other than that, these tools, there's a department store, kind of off-named department store in my area, and in their tool section, that's what they sell is Genesis tools. So that's suppose how this ended up at the in the $5 bin at a garage sale. But they really are cheap, just super budget tools. Anyway, I really appreciate everybody who's been watching and subscribing, and if you haven't subscribed, please do. Till next time, Catus Maximus out.